Hey,
Hello, happy Monday, and I'll tell you, every Monday never disappoints. They are always full of fun and festivities and chaos and newness and
oh Nick,
oh
yeah,
God,
it's
I
just
love life.
it's so fun.
It is. Happy Monday, everyone. Unveiling Beauty. We are so excited to be with you guys tonight. We're a little delirious because it's just been a day. But listen, I think you guys could relate. This is like quarantine day 392.
Right?
So we're all about a little bit twitchy at this point, but it's all good. We're going to get through it and we're going to get it through together. And tonight we have a fun show in store. So, Ammon, let's talk about that.
Yeah, actually, I've been looking forward to the show, and if any of you can relate, just so that Nick and I don't feel alone, go ahead and comment in there if you're feeling the quarantine crazies, because it's hitting hard today. But we are going to get through it, and today I'm very excited. I don't want it to distract from the context of the topic that we have today, because it's been one that I've been very much looking forward to, and it's called protective styles. And it's sort of like almost like texture episode 2, because it has a lot of relevance to people with textured hair. And we're going to deep dive with Miss Pekela Riley and Bianca and Takeyra from our design team, all about protective styles, why you wear them, how you should wear them, what are they, what do they look like, and all that good juicy stuff. What do you think, Nick?
I love it. I think we should just jump right into our one and only Miss Pekela Riley.
We have a video to roll to set the tone.
Sure, let's do it.
Ulta Beauty has recognized the need and stepped up to service all texture types within Ulta stores and salons.
For the first time in our company, it's like everybody's going to have the opportunity to do textured hair. So I'm really excited about that.
We brought these guys together to make sure that we have a broad range of diverse experience, because it's not me who has all the answers, or Pekela, or David, or Ammon. We really believe that texture is so broad, so we make sure that we have the most innovative education in the industry.
Texture is just a fabric of beauty.
We can teach anybody how to do a technique. It's about how to do a proper consultation. It's about how to touch on those emotions. It's about how to tap into those stereotypes that have made us as minorities feel bad about our hair.
It's really gonna help us as Ulta Beauty be the leaders and the owners of like inclusion and just welcoming anybody that walks in the door.
So we want to get it right, because they've been telling us for so long that it's wrong. So Ulta's gonna get it right.
It's only just the beginning. The opportunity is endless.
I love that video, Nick, don't you, huh?
I do. I really
Gets me excited about all the stuff we're doing with texture, and just kind of sets the tone. I know that a lot of the things in that video had to do with what we're going to be talking about today. So let's bring out none other than our little Miss Texture Queen, Miss Pekela Riley. How are you, PK?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Good. Nice to
Doing
see
good.
you. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.
Warm weather. You got like the sun shining in your face there. It feels
I think
like.
so. Yeah, I think
um,
I have a little bit too much light.
you're glowing. You're glowing. Hey, talk to us a little bit about what's in store for us today. Talk about our show today.
So we're talking all about protective styles, which is very big in texture. Certainly, one aspect of maintaining texture. And with so many women with textured hair being at home right now, many women are going to texture protective styles for their hair care. And so, such a fitting topic right now.
So, Pekela, tell me, why do you feel it's so important? Protective styling is such an important part of textured hair.
Well, it's always been a very important part of styling and caring for protective hair. It has a lot of history. If you go back to protective styling with braids, Braids go back to 3500 BC.
Wow.
And that's because, life was very busy and there was a lot of labor. And so certainly the hair had to be maintained and cared for in a way that would last and wouldn't require having to maintain it each day. And so, fast forward, that's still the case when managing highly textured hair to put it in some type of protective style to make life easier and that daily maintenance a lot shorter and a lot uh, less rigorous in maintaining.
Yeah.
Very good. Hey, before we go any further, if you guys haven't already, make sure to share this on your Facebook and ask questions on either myself or Ammon's page. We'll make sure we get it to all these experts throughout the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. Pekela, so my question is, and this is something that I learned a lot from you, and I would love for you to share with our listeners, is how protective styles are often like set up. Like, what are the different types of protective styles, and how can they help people like set up for what they're going to wear? Like, some protective styles are they just for hiding their hair or protecting their hair, or what do they look like? What do protective styles look like?
So protective styles are just that. It allows the hair to be in a state where, of course, it's well groomed or polished, but it allows the hair to be in a protective state. And what I mean by a protective state is that the hair is not introduced to daily tension or manipulation. And this can allow the hair time to rebuild, of course, if it's in a state of breakage. Also, an opportunity to enrich the hair with moisturizers and keep it in that state. So protective means that, I'm not exposing this hair and this texture, this fabric to the everyday wear and tear. So if we think about fabric, the hair, the texture of the hair being a fabric, we have to think about if we were stretching it daily, shampooing it daily, or raking through that daily, that could begin to show a tattered wear and tear to the texture. But with protecting it and not doing it as frequently, we see how much longer we can keep the integrity of that fabric, or in this case, the hair texture intact.
That makes sense. So I think that, a lot of the questions are on people's minds are like, what are the do's and don'ts? What can I do to really make sure that I execute this properly? And then what do I really want to stay away from so I don't run into a pitfall?
There's so many do's and don'ts, but I definitely want to emphasize the first and foremost, and that's tension. Many protective styles involve braiding or securing the foundation in order for it to be protective or secure that hair. And so you don't want to have something that is designed to protect the hair, but in order to secure the hair or braid the hair, that it has excessive tension. So tension will be first and foremost because we know that this can cause thinning and hair loss at the scalp. So tension would be first and foremost. And I also want to emphasize that protective means just that. Protective hairstyles mean that it can create lower hair maintenance, but it certainly is not about having no hair maintenance. So there is a difference between having a protective style that offers lower maintenance versus regarding a protective style as a moment for no hair maintenance.
Interesting. I'll tell you, as you're talking, I'm looking at all these great video B-rolls that we have here, and it really helps give a visual to what you're saying on all these different techniques that you can do.
Yeah, so Pekela, I'm often curious about this because if you're going to be wearing a style that's going to be in your hair for a long time, you're obviously going to want to make sure you choose certain products that are okay to put on your hair daily because you're not taking it in and out, right? So guide us through like what are the products that you generally lean towards when it comes to protective styles?
So as I share, protective style is about having lower maintenance, but one of the key factors to keeping your hair healthy while having a protective style, such as my braids. These braids were done meticulously. They'll last a while, but my primary care would be my scalp care. And the scalp is so very essential because that's what keeps the hair growing in a healthy manner. And you don't want to keep the hair unmaintained and ungroomed, because this can create the opposite effect. You go into the protective style with the intention to come out with your hair healthier, but if you're not taking care of that scalp, you can end up creating the opposite effect. So you want to have products that, in regards to scalp care, particularly salicylic acid, you want to and that salicylic acid, you want to do that at least once a month. I would say bi-weekly to once a month, to keep that scalp exfoliated. And that exfoliation is going to allow the natural sebum to not be clogged at the pores, and maintain and hold excessive bacteria. And it's also going to help to keep that scalp balanced, so that you're not having folliculitis or dermatitis, or those issues where you have dandruff or those types of things occurring at the scalp. So you definitely want a product with salicylic acid. You want things to calm the scalp, and those would be your aloe vera, your avocado, your eucalyptus. And one of my favorite lines to address complete healthy scalp would be Mazzani Scalp Care, because many of the items have all of those ingredients to care for the scalp, and it even has a shampoo and conditioner, and even a deeper treatment mask with those some of those key ingredients in each of the products to keep a healthy scalp.
If you don't mind, there's two questions here kind of back to back on product I'd love to ask you. Janice is asking, what products do you put on the hair before twisting the hair?
I'm sorry, someone wanted to call me.
So Janice was asking Pekela, like, before you do a twist out on someone, what product do you use in the hair?
Someone wanted to know before I do a twist out on. So that's a great question. It depends on if you're doing that twist out wet or dry. I have a rule, and it's a general rule. There are exceptions to the rule, but if the hair is wet, then you definitely want to use a foam or alcohol-free gel-based product. And if the hair is dry, because you can do a dry twist out as well, and that's a pre-stretched twist out, and that's when you see those creams in your puddings. So it doesn't mean that you can't use a cream or pudding in the wet state, but in general, if you're starting a pre-stretched or a dry twist out, use a cream-based product, because that is moisture-based. And then if you're going to do a wet-based twist out, use your foam or your alcohol-free gel-based products, because that is to set and define hold from the wet state.
Okay, that makes sense. There's so many questions here. I'm just going to ask you one more, and then we'll come back and answer these questions later. But one around scalp care. You talked about it earlier, how important scalp care is, and what specific scalp products do you recommend?
As I was sharing key ingredients, your salicylic acid as a treatment. So when I speak to things like that, that doesn't mean on a daily basis, but that's certainly something that you would use. Definitely something you would use at least bi-weekly or up to once a month. So Mazzani Scalp Care has a complete system for scalp care, and it has uh, serums that you can apply to the scalp that contain your avocado, your eucalyptus, your aloe vera. These are things that really calm and inflame follicle, because sometimes even getting a low tension braided style can create a little inflammation initially. So you want to calm that inflammation with your products that have your aloe vera, your avocado. These are really soothing and hydrating and moisturizing to the scalp.
Thank
Nick,
you.
I got another question here, and then I know we're gonna have to answer these like on the fly. Just rest assured, you guys, Pekela, we've been really good about going back and watching these after. So if you watch this later, keep asking questions, and we can answer them post the live. But Santiago wanted to know what you think of coconut oil for textured hair.
I think coconut oil should be used sparingly, because we have to think about, in science, oil and water, they don't mix. And so with having very heavy lipids such as coconut oil, or too much coconut oil, while it can create a luster or a sheen, it can be a barrier, and it will be a barrier if too much of it is not. Is too much of it is on the hair in order for moisture to penetrate. So I believe coconut oil should be infused into products, and they've been done in a way that allow for there to be a moisture balance. But raw coconut oil is not particularly a favorite of mine for natural textured hair. I know it sounds yummy, and it has a lot of popularity, but that popularity is not necessarily science based, because although it can give you that sheen and that slip, over time you can find the hair quite dry because true moisture based products, which are water based products, are not allowed to permeate the hair. So coconut oil, raw coconut oil, not so much,
Sparingly,
not so good,
sparingly.
so
I
good.
think that you're making me think of an analogy that a hairdresser once told me, and I want to know if you think it's true or not. Like, they gave me the analogy of putting like oil on a table, right? And so if you walked away from the table for a few days and you smeared oil on a table, the part of the table where you had placed oil would collect dirt faster than the rest of the table. Do you think that applies when people use too much oil in their hair? Does it attract dirt and need to be washed sooner?
Oh, absolutely. I think, and especially when that was so on point, Aaron. I'm always, sometimes I'm proud of what you say, and then sometimes I'm really proud with the questions, because the questions let you know where a person's insight is. And you're absolutely right, Ammon. That coconut oil or heavy oils become like flypaper. It
Yeah.
becomes like a molecular attraction. It starts to hold every single thing, and then it creates instead of a place of hydration that is intended to be for the scalp, it can create a hub for debris and bacteria.
It's like
And we certainly
suffocation.
don't want that
Yeah.
for our hair and our scalps. No.
Right.
So, actually think more moisture based when it comes to protective styling. More leave-in light conditioner sprays versus heavy oils. Because like even with my braids, if I were to take like heavy oils and coat down my braids, it would be very high shine and create that illusion of luster day one. But could you imagine pollen and dirt and lint and
Right.
so many things that would really attract and stick onto my hair? So just
So
think of that
interesting.
about heavy oils.
I learned something from you, Pekela, and I'm going to steal Ammon's analogy because I think that's really great with the table. But before we go any further, we have a really quick video we want to show. So let's roll to that.
Cool.
Very good. I will tell you, I might be a little biased because you're on our team, but your work just continues to blow me away. Like, I don't think there's ever been a picture that I looked at that you've created or work that you created that I wasn't in awe with. I have to just throw it out there.
Oh,
It is
Nick,
always so tastefully spot on.
thank you so much. Listen, I feel like I'm with beyond the best company, and I'm Yeah, don't make me blush like that.
The love fest. Pekela, I do want to talk a little bit about the video that we just played a little bit, because one of the things I thought was interesting is you showcased a protective style, but then you showed how you can use extensions or clip-ins, so it looks like they've got natural hair, but they're still wearing their hair in a protective style that keeps it safe and keeps it protected, right?
Yes, and I particularly wanted to share that video to make the case that first and foremost, oftentimes we see a woman with a protective style, and that's just to recap them. You know, our protective styles could be braids, that could be extensions, it could be
Mm-hmm.
wigs, also low manipulation. And in this case, we saw an example of a U-part wig. And the reason why I wanted to show that was that here's this woman with lots of natural hair. So we have a wig, but it's not about having more hair, but it is to create protection. And that's because she's able to take that piece on and off each night without the wear and tear of her hair. And in many cases, a natural woman is going to want to have that same natural aesthetic, but may not want to twist out her hair every night. And she certainly wouldn't have to do that with a U-part such as that. So we saw that her hair was braided down, and you saw that the little parts around her hairline were left out. And that was key to what we spoke about earlier, being one of the key primary factors in healthy protective styling is to really be mindful with that tension. And so we left the edges out. In that case, we have the top part, and the top part, any part that's left out on a U part or sew-in or wig, we call that the leave out. So leave out is a term that you would hear quite extensively in protective styling reference, and that leave out, you know, created that blending to go over her wig. And we saw the use of and that was a really good protective style for her, because it gave her a natural blend where elements of her hair were still out, so she had that natural blend. She had access to her scalp, so she could take a serum or take an astringent with a cotton ball and go through her scalp to help cleanse her, you know, to keep her scalp balanced and cleansed. So she had access to her scalp. And then also too, there wasn't a lot of tension or braiding. She was able to just clip that on and clip that off, and that allowed her to have ready access to keep her hair maintained while she was wearing a protective style.
So good. It's just
I
always
mean,
so
like,
good. Yeah,
Hey,
it
wealth
the
of
is.
green
knowledge
light is
as
not my
usual.
friend
I
today.
mean, so many different options always. So
Yeah.
versatile. I love it.
Thank you.
I love it, Pekela. So it's such a great way to think about protective styling, and how it's not just about protecting the hair, but it also gives you an opportunity to change up your look while keeping your hair feeling and looking great. Such great tips. That's why you're the queen.
Thank you.
All right. Well,
All right.
thanks
Well,
for hanging out with
yeah,
us.
we're gonna say
Thank you
goodbye to you
guys.
now, Miss Pekela, and bring on one of our young design team members, one of our new design team members, Miss Bianca Donahue. Bianca, you there, honey?
I'm here. How are you guys?
Good. Nice to see you.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
How's it
Thank you.
going?
Good.
Good, good,
Yeah.
good. How have you been during this quarantine lifestyle we're living in right now?
I've been good. I can't complain. I definitely took on a new role as a homeschool teacher, so that's been
Oh,
the highlight of my whole
Oh, you
quarantine.
don't know.
oh, I've heard so many homeschool
Oh
stories
my
that
goodness.
it's actually comical. There's going to be like an SNL skit on homeschool teaching with parents, I swear.
Yeah,
So
no.
much respect. So much respect, Bianca.
I joke all the time. I
Hope.
say I miss their day parents. I really do.
That's
Do you have
hysterical.
like do you have them like tethered in the bedroom so you can do this live uninterrupted?
Yeah, well, Daddy took them for ice cream, so
Oh,
Okay, cool.
perfect.
Good deal.
Perfect.
Good deal.
All right. So, in the previous segment, Pekela talked about scalp care and, how important it was. Tell me your point of view on scalp care.
I definitely think scalp care is one of the most important things when it comes to protective styling. Because, of course, like she said, that's the whole point of it, is to protect your natural hair from any type of damage or tension. So maintaining the scalp and keeping it healthy and clean, it's extremely important. I personally like to still cleanse my scalp at least once or twice a week, depending on the type of protective style that I have. If it's a more longevity one, then I tend to cleanse my scalp like once or twice a week. With something like weight, like astringent, like Miss Pekela was saying, and I
Do you
definitely
have specific products you love?
I love the I'm an apple cider vinegar person. So either I normally use like organic apple cider vinegar and with a
Okay.
cotton ball and mix it with water and kind of cleanse it. Or I'll definitely use like a co-wash cleanser, something that's more lightweight, like the Design Essentials co-wash. I would use
Okay.
that as well. And that kind of helps with my cleansing.
Very good.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so Bianca, I have a question for you.
Yes.
Because you know what my favorite is, like, right, but even you just joined the team and we hadn't even had time to, like, I feel it was like she came on the design team, remember, Nick? We hadn't had any trainings or anything. But right away you posted a video of you wearing a protective style and showing people how to like install like a wig, which it was so great. I learned a lot from that. But I want to ask you, how long do you typically wear a protective style? What, is it a week? Is it 2 weeks? Is it like 4 days?
So as you guys are starting to see, I do like to switch my hair up a lot. So I personally typically don't go more than 2 weeks. If I do, then I'm being lazy. But otherwise, it's normally like 7 days or at the very most 14 days. Of course, the longer it is, the more intricate the style probably took to actually, or more detailed the style took to actually do. But typically, about 10 to 14 days is my average for a hairstyle. So I just took some braids down that were up for 2 weeks, and now I'm like rocking my hair for a week until I can figure out what's next.
And then when you're kind of thinking about your routine, like your favorite go-to products to maintain your style and to maintain your look, do they change off throughout those 2 weeks, or are there like three go-tos that you're always like referring back to?
So they typically switch, I would say, depending on the style that I normally have, because sometimes I do wear wigs, so some of the wigs might call for me to use something different as far as with my scalp. Otherwise,
I think we just, this is like, we should call this Technical Mondays because it's like you never know what's going to happen. You just never know. And we
So
lost Bianca,
she'll be
but
back in just a second.
she'll be back in a second.
I,
But you know what,
I
Ammon? It got me thinking about protective styling because I don't know about you. I haven't spent a lot of time really honing that craft for me. And now I'm like a sponge every time I hear any of our team talk about the different types of styling that you can do in protective styling. And I think it's so unique when you talk about the different textures and the different hair types. Like, it's interesting. I've always, thought of hair as like fabric, right? And you just treat it differently depending on the type of fabric that you're working with. So you're not going to iron wool and silk the same way, right? Same thing with hair.
exactly.
You're going to take fine hair and you're going to treat it differently than you would textured hair because it reacts differently. So it's just so interesting to hear how long you could go without using with keeping that specific style, how many different products you could use.
I think the part of it to me, Nick, that has been a mind blower, and I know that we have Bianca back, and we're gonna have her join us with another person. But there is one thing. Hi, Bianca. How are you?
sorry.
Um, One of the things that Nick and I were just, we were actually discussing the things that we had been learning about protective styling while we were sorting through technical difficulties. And one of the things that really was like that light bulb moment for me as an artist, as I've been learning about texture more and more, was that setting hair, pre-stretching hair, twist outs, all those things I had always thought of as were like setups for a style that they would just pull out. I never thought of them as like, oh, if you set it with a cool pattern and a directional technique, they can wear it for a week as that style, and then they can pull it out and get another week with a curly hairstyle or something like that. And how how it becomes like transitional and it sets you up like a set, but it's cool to wear at the same time. So I love talking and learning about how protective styles are actually cool styles to wear. They're not just to protect your hair. They look cool. People love wearing them. You can add extensions.
Yep.
I know we're going to bring on Takeyra to join us right now, right?
Right.
Is Takeyra there?
Hi, Takeyra. How are you?
We're going to have a conversation with all of us. Cool. So Takeyra, actually, I asked already how long Bianca usually wears her protective styles. I'm curious, what is your length usually for wearing a protective style? I'm I'm waiting. Nick, can you hear Takeyra?
I cannot. I'm sorry.
Takeyra, hang on. Let's just see if everybody on the live can hear you. So, you know what, Bianca? We're gonna keep chatting for you for a second. Bianca or
Okay.
Takeyra, why don't you come on back in just a second, and then we'll wrap up what we were gonna talk. Nick, this is just—it's going so just like
This is
boomity boom
this
boom boom
this is a
today.
typical Monday. I love it. I'm having so much fun with all this technology. It just kind of it just keeps it's a gift that keeps
All
on
right.
giving Monday.
Talk to me about. I know you and I, when we were talking earlier, you were going to ask Bianca specifically about like some of what are her go-tos. So you had a question for her about what her favorite protective styles are. I know you have a few, Bianca.
I
You have a
do.
lot.
I really do.
Yeah,
So I would probably say my number one favorite would be wigs, just because that is like the easiest way where I can switch my hairstyles up daily. And I don't like to have a lot of hair when I go to bed at night. I don't like a lot like laying on me. So the wigs are like so easy that I can take them off every day and then put on something new the next day. My second favorite would be a 2 or 3 strand twist with my natural hair. I'm actually wearing them a little bit now, but
So
with my
cute.
hair being so much that it doesn't look like I have like a lot of hair, so I don't like to wear them naturally. But when you take them down, they're just so nice, and the curls are so uniformed and pretty. And then my last favorite would be crochets with a crochet latch hook. You can create a lot of different looks with that one little tool and some braids. And I tend to wear a lot, and those are it's pretty quick to install as well. So I tend to switch my styles up with crochet braids as well.
I'm going to
that's so
challenge
cool.
you for a little tutorial with that crochet because I don't know that I know exactly what you mean. So
Oh yes,
I'm going to
definitely.
assign
Yes.
you a little video to post on social. So everybody go to Bianca and see
Okay.
if she's going to teach us all how to do that.
Thank you.
It's
Yes.
so cool to see it done.
Yeah. Do we have Takeyra back? Is she back? Or are we still with Miss Bianca? Bianca, it's all
I
about you
don't.
today. We can't get enough.
We can't win with technology and we can't lose either. So,
I
Let's-
know. Bianca, talk to me about, we started to talk about products. Now, there's certain people out there that feel like you only use one particular brand in order to get an end result. Like, what are some of your go-to brands? What are some of your go-to products to really be able to achieve any of these texture styles that you like to do?
oh, I love that question. So first, I like to say that I'm not 100% a one person, like one brand junkie. I do feel like
Yeah.
each brand kind of has like their strong suit depending on what they were created to make. So I do have a lot of different types of products. I will say that my top favorite is Design Essentials. Um, and they just actually launched a lot of new products on the Ulta site, but they have so many different. They've made the main focus is like almond and avocado, which my hair typically tends to like a lot with the moisture and just sealing my hair down. I have very frizzy hair. So that would probably be one of my favorite brands. Another one would be TGIN. They have a lot of natural based products as well. When you're like reading the ingredients, it's not a lot of words that you don't really recognize. So those are like my top two favorites. As
Okay.
far as like shampoo and cleansers, I love AG. But I have so many products. It's ridiculous. When they say like curly girls, like if you look in their hair closet, you will find literally almost anything curly related in there, from high end to low end. So I'm
Right.
definitely a junkie for hair products.
I think that's why we all love our company so much,
Right.
because Ulta Beauty has so many different products to play with and choose from and experiment and learn. And it's just like, it's so much fun. I don't know about you, but
It
I'm like a kid
is.
in the candy store when playing in our stores.
I've
Absolutely.
actually grown to have to buy like storage bins, like the big totes to put products in because I just have so much. It's ridiculous.
I know. I've actually dedicated a whole closet to beauty products.
That's a goal. I'm working on that.
I know, and now my kit is growing exponentially because I'm learning that all these additional texture tools, texture products that I didn't really have before. So my kit is just like it was already bursting at the seams. I'm gonna need to carry on two kits.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
It is. Well, you know what? Thank you, Bianca, so much for being on here today and hanging out with us. And Takeyra, we're going to invite her back next time to do another segment. We're having a little technical difficulties with getting Takeyra on, and I'm so bummed because I couldn't call her tequila like I did last time. And I promised her I was going to have a tequila here for her, but I didn't even have time to pour a tequila today. So, oh well, it's just an excuse for us to hang out again another night.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Well, thank you, Bianca, so much for being on here and for filling
Thank
in
you
this time.
guys.
And even though you guys can't see, thank everybody. Thank Takeyra for the time and effort she spent getting ready for us. And we'll have her back because, like we've been saying, texture is not like a one and done for us. This will be an ongoing series as we continue to build our knowledge and our expertise and spread you know, spread the knowledge about what to do, what not to do, what products to use, and all the things that we need to know about texture. So thank you so much, Bianca and Takeyra, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay?
Thank you. Have
So,
a good one.
Ammon, take
Yeah.
care. Ammon, what's in store for Wednesday?
So Wednesday, Nick, is going to be what we're going to call the brow battle. So it's all about eyebrows, right? So at Ulta Beauty, what I love is that we have the ability, like, since we're all things beauty all in one place. We have skincare therapists, we have arch
Hmm.
experts, we have hairdressers. So here we are, and we're going to go and talk about brows, and it's going to be a fun one because
I
I
love
know
it.
that people have either been, and actually a colleague of ours, and I won't reveal her name, but I know she's watching, and she's going to laugh when she hears this. She talked about her son deciding while she was on a call to just take, the action of tweezing his own brows into his own hands and removed about three-quarters of his eyebrow. And she now
Oh, I can't
gets
wait
to
to hear
look
this story later.
at
It's actually
um,
a very common thing to
yeah. So
do.
she came back and out of the bathroom. He had about no eyebrows, but we will be having an arch expert, a very well-known arch expert, actually come on and give us some tips for making sure that you don't have any mistakes at home while your eyebrows are
I
are
love it.
growing in. Yeah, yeah.
So fun, so fun.
It'll be really fun.
Well, that'll be our first brow segment, and that's definitely going to be a hoot. I can't wait. There's going to probably be so many laughs and stories we're going to have to tell. So that's going to be great. Thanks everyone for chiming in tonight and bearing with us with all the technical difficulties. It's just, it's just Monday. So, like,
It was
hey,
one of
just
those.
go with
Yeah.
it. Yeah. But I do want to share something that I came across today that I thought was super interesting. We're in this time of quarantine, we're in this time of reflection, we're in this time of like, what the hell's going on in the world, right? And I think everybody's twitching a little bit, getting ready. Everybody's tired of being in their houses, tired of your loved ones that's home all day, all the time with you. No. We're spending lots of time together. But no, I've been, going through social media and I saw something. It's actually quite fun. You should look it up. It's Josh Groban, if you know him, he's the singer. And he started this new thing called hashtag shower songs. So he's fully clothed, he's in the shower, and he's singing it. And if you know his voice, it's really, really spectacular. So I clicked on it today and it was a request. You can go on and request what songs, and it was Somewhere Over the Rainbow. And I know it sounds super cheesy, but I listened to it and it really made me pause, and I listened to every word, and it really made me think. And the truth of the matter is, we will get to the other side of the rainbow,
For
and we
sure.
will be back together, and we will be laughing together, and having a cocktail together, and being in classes together, and in our Ulta store together, and wherever we like to convene. So just bear with this time. plug through it like we did our technical difficulties today. Laugh a little, share some love with people around you. And until then, come back Wednesday and laugh some more with us. Have a good night, everyone.
See you guys.